Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. Senate debate to resume on the Defense and Police Complaints Authority Amendment Bill 2013. The Justice Minister speaks out on the contentious defense bill. And in sports, we focus on netball. In our top story, Attorney General the Honorable Annan Ramlogan says the government remains open to suggestions which will serve to better the Defense Amendment Bill, now known as the Miscellaneous Provisions Defense and Police Complaints Bill 2013. The bill seeks to give powers of arrest to soldiers. Speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing, Attorney General Annan Ramlogan says following Wednesday's adjournment of the debate on the bill, the government still has not given up on the passage of the bill. He says as the opposition and independent senators have voiced concerns about the bill, and the government is willing to hear and address these concerns.
We have listened very attentively to the contributions made by all our colleagues in the Senate. To the extent that their contribution, their suggestions and proposals, we remain open to suasion and receptive to any good ideas. It is noteworthy, however, that no proposed amendments emanated from the contributions of anyone who spoke. But we took note of some of the things that have been said. There appears to be a collision of ideas in the contributions, and there are several contradictory statements made that we need to resolve.
The Attorney General, however, maintains the advantages of the bill are of major significance. He insists the Army remains handicapped in their assistance of the enforcing of the law and order. Senator Ramlogan cites an example in which soldiers attempting to assist in law enforcement were left powerless by law.
The police go to execute a search warrant for drugs or guns. They knock on the front door, the soldiers are posted at the back. And as the police enter, two young men casually walk out, not run, I said casually walk out, and they seem to have a little oversized jersey on them. The soldiers may suspect that they have guns or drugs hidden and tucked in their waist, but the soldiers cannot, in law, stop them, search, seize, or make an arrest. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. In such a scenario, the soldiers cannot stop them. Why is that so? Because only police officers, according to our laws, can act on the basis of reasonable suspicion. No one else has the right to place a citizen's liberty in jeopardy to stop them or search them, except a police officer, and he can only do so if he entertains reasonable suspicion. That concept in police powers does not, in fact, vest in the Army, so they will not be able to stop them.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General is refuting recent reports in the media which quote him as describing soldiers as idle. He urges the media to exercise meticulousness when reporting on parliamentary proceedings.
I made no such statement. At no time did I make any statement that our soldiers are idle. The points have been misquoted, misrepresented, badly taken out of context, and of course words have been inserted and attributed to me that I did not simply utter. And I think that is most unfortunate. It has caused some anguish, bitterness, and disappointment on the part of those who listened faithfully to what I had to say, in showering the fulsome praise that I did on the work that the Army has been doing to save this country from the criminal elements in conjunction with the police service. And I think that we need to be a little more careful when we report on parliamentary proceedings, lest we make these kind of errors and cause such grave embarrassment.
Still on the Defense and Police Complaints Authority Amendment Bill, the Senate debate will resume on April 23rd on matters concerning the Defense and Police Complaints Authority Amendment Bill 2013. However, members of the upper house took the chance to lay down reasons why the bill's passage was necessary.
Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Senator Ganga Singh, has moved that the upper house debate on the Defense and Police Complaints Authority Amendment Bill 2013 be adjourned to a later date. He notes this will be done in an effort to accommodate the requests and changes brought up by members in the House.
Having regard to the sentiments expressed by several members of this Honorable House, which the government is taking into consideration, I'd like to adjourn the current sitting of the House to Tuesday, the 9th of April, in which we will deal with an act to amend the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, Chapter 4850. And we will continue the debate on this issue on Tuesday, 23rd April.
But prior to this, Minister of Gender Affairs Marlene Kudry told the upper house that supporting this bill means putting the country first and giving law enforcers the needed authority to fight crime effectively.
We have an opportunity to effect a strong response that can change things in this country. And I appeal to members on all sides that we need to be one on this. And I implore this House to support this bill. And we need to get together and work out strategies. Every life lost, Madam Vice President, is one too many as far as we in this government are concerned. So that it troubles me very deeply to hear the very callous statements being made and the politicizing of this issue of crime in this country, when we should be getting together and joining hands in terms of what do we do and how do we deal with it. How do we as a parliament come together to deal with the issues we have? It will affect all of us if it hasn't affected you yet. If we continue on this train, it will someday reach us. Right. And the old people say, what a meteor and pass you. And we better take note.
Tertiary Education Minister Fazal Karim, during the debate, assured that a training program will be provided for persons of the security forces, giving them the qualifications to aid them in the fight against crime.
The officers of the Defense Force will undergo a period of training. And that training was being earmarked or considered to be conducted by the University of the West Indies on the Seneguston campus.
Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Meanwhile, the Justice Minister is calling on members of both the upper and lower house to support the Defence and Police Complaints Bill 2013. Speaking to members of the upper house, Minister Moore says the bill will address an illegality that has been occurring for 10 years.
As questions continue to be raised over the move to give members of the Defence Force powers of arrest under the Miscellaneous Provisions Defence and Police Complaints Bill 2013, Justice Minister Chrislyn Moore says the time had come to put aside differences and look at where we are currently in terms of law enforcement. Minister Moore says the bill seeks to correct an illegality that had been occurring for 10 years.
We try to get good law, that we not wait on good men, and that we not get blinded by the headlights of ambiguity, that we not get blinded by the headlights of what if, maybe, some vague possibility, some probability that may evolve when every time the universe lines up. Yeah. Let us consider where we are today. We have had 10 years of this. Let us not forget that we have had 10 years of this, and we've managed not to develop a cadre of police officers with a serious military identity problem. Identity crisis. No, we have had no reports of soldiers dressing up, of policemen dressing up like soldiers and wandering around town. It has not happened.
She cited an incident where the Coast Guard was in need of powers of arrest, however was forced to wait on the police, risking a number of factors in such criminal cases.
What really happened is that the Coast Guard noticed a boat offshore acting suspiciously. They intercepted it and they surveilled the area, and they waited for the police. They gave evidence contrary to what my friend said. Yes. They gave evidence, but they waited on the police because they had no choice. They had no power. As to reinforce the need for this legislation. Absolutely. There is a need for this legislation to allow, it would have allowed in that circumstance, the Coast Guardsmen, rather than waiting there, twiddling their thumbs with their arms folded hoping that the other boat that came out to Monos Island bringing the police did not break down, that the police officers were not thrown overboard by a wave, that there wasn't another boat on the other side of Monos Island waiting to take the drugs off from the back. It would have given them some real powers of arrest.
Minister Moore dispelled talk that members of the Defence Force were ill-behaved and infighting would occur between these two services.
We run the risk of alienating all our men, yes, our policemen and our Defence Force officers with this horrible taint of being killers. These men are professionals.
And for 10 years
they are career policemen,
10 years.
Career soldiers. They did not simply drop onto the landscape. They have found a way over 10 years to not be squabbling with each other in the middle of Woodford Square.
We want to squabble here.
So that let us give credit to the professional mettle of these two forces, of their heads and of their fighting forces.
The Justice Minister describes the bill as a chance for regularization, rationalization and legitimacy. For News 4, I am Nikolai Edwards.
More news after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Minister of the People and Social Development, Dr. the Honorable Glenn Ramadasinghe says he's hoping to see the establishment of a Baptist University and a Baptist Museum in Trinidad and Tobago. He voiced his expectations for the Baptist faith as he delivered the feature address during a Baptist Liberation celebration.
Dr. Ramadasinghe is commending the Baptist faith for their achievements over the past 10 years. The Minister of the People says Baptists have a lot to be proud about.
You have a lot to be proud, and you have a long, long way to go. Because you have just been here for such a short while, and already you are the fastest growing religion in Trinidad and Tobago. 140% increase since the last census 10 years ago.
Minister Ramadasinghe says the government has plans to expand the academic opportunities available to persons in the Baptist faith. He says this includes the naming of an educational institute in tribute of a great Baptist hero, Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler.
It will be very fitting one day when you can name one of your schools or your universities with the name Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler Baptist University or school or polytechnic. As I said, you have had your first school. We move on to secondary, polytechnic, and one day at Baptist University for Trinidad and Tobago. That is the kind of vision that we have for you as a people. Because it is only by educating and reskilling and training our people that we can move forward.
He adds that while schools are important, personal development is also necessary for the growth of the faith. Dr. Ramadasinghe insists Baptist history must also be acknowledged and respected.
We must not only build buildings and schools and offices, we must develop the mind, the mindset, the psychology of our people. To do so is to allow us to determine our own future, ourselves, by the drop of our sweat and the din of our hard work. We can take ourselves to that higher level. And I say, as we climb to higher and higher regions, when you stand on a rock of stability, you extend another hand to pull up another brother along the way. It is only when we develop the minds of our people, make them proud of their history, and teach them their culture so well that they can teach their own generations. It is only then that they dig their roots deep and their stems and leaves will rise high in pristine beauty to wave all heaven the glory that they are.
In this vein, the minister is urging the members of the faith to begin discussions on a Baptist museum to preserve their history.
Be proud of your history, your heroes, and your hard work. The time has come for you as the Baptist community to think about building a historical museum to preserve your presence in Trinidad and Tobago.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
The Baptist faith is receiving the equality among the other religions, which it has fought for throughout the years. This as the government has announced plans to collaborate with stakeholders in the faith to establish a scholarship fund, commemorative stamps, and the maintenance of Baptist heritage sites.
Members of the Baptist faith have been given an opportunity to display their skills at the Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler Village. The village at Harris Promenade in San Fernando was organized by the West Indian United Spiritual Baptist Sacred Order. It was visited by hundreds of persons, including both primary and secondary school children. Speaking at the closing night of the village, the Honorable Clifton Decoto, Minister of National Diversity and Social Integration, commended the members of the faith. He noted the evolution of the faith, saying Baptists of today have taken a dynamic approach to developing not only themselves and their faith, but the country and the world at large.
You all have evolved from a singular focus on spirituality to a more holistic focus on development. Development of the Baptist community, the community at large, the youth, and by extension, the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. The objectives of the diocese speak of the furtherance of the religious, cultural, educational, and social development of the members of the order, with an all-encompassing mission of being a dynamic organization with global reach, providing superior quality service, ensuring excellent performance in the execution of the holy sacraments, while demonstrating pastoral care and concern for the members of the community and the world.
The minister says the ongoing collaboration between the faith and the government will lead to a sense of fulfillment and achievement. He explains that there are many great things planned by the government to honor the faith and its contribution to this country.
Talks have been initiated on the creation and distribution of bursaries and scholarships in the name of Baptist heroes such as Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, Right Reverend Ivan Lancaster, Episcopus Archbishop Barbara Grayburg, and former Archbishop Elton George Griffith, to deserving individuals of the order. We have also been investigating the possibility of repairs to churches throughout Trinidad and Tobago through the National Self-Help Commission, now under the Ministry of Local Government. The issue of the Baptist heritage sites is currently being overseen by the Ministry of National Diversity and Social Integration's National Trust, where we have listed important sites to be legislated and protected and government maintained.
Minister Decoto adds that the government is also looking into the design and release of commemorative stamps to recall the Baptist journey. While noting the accomplishments of the faith, the minister is urging Baptists to continue improving themselves and their faith with the government's assistance.
Just as the Butler Village offers an avenue for marketing and research of products which are made by the hands of members of the Baptist community, we are also seeking ways in which we can facilitate your members to develop the agricultural cooperatives in the areas of research, production, advertising, and distribution.
Minister Decoto reiterates that unity and hard work will ensure the constant positive evolution of the faith. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Up next, the very latest in sports. Stay with us. The All Sectors Netball League came to a close on the weekend with a day of fun and awards at the Eastern Regional Sports Complex in Tacarigua. This year, the titles were divided with no one team dominating. This must be a positive sign as the Ministry of Sport continues to explore options to professionalize the sport. Wayne Cunningham has the details from the closing day.
Only in the closing day fun tournament, you'll see Jaleesa Allen at goalkeeper marking Daystar Swift, who is normally an attacking partner with UTT. But the Colors tournament is just part of the action as the women and men in netball celebrate another successful year in the All Sectors Netball League. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Netball Association, Mrs. Patricia Butcher, was on hand to take in the proceedings on the final day.
I want to say what a wonderful afternoon it has been for me. I really enjoyed the Colors tournament, and I want all those who participated in that tournament to give yourselves a lusty round of applause.
Brenda Prince and her management team also came in for high praise from the TTNA president.
To the management team of Courts All Sectors Netball League, of which I am a part, I want to first of all congratulate Brenda Prince, the leader of the team, for another excellent tournament. Give Brenda and all the management team a round of applause again.
The presentation of awards followed with the divisional knockout. Police took second in the alternative division, with UTT copying the title. Fire took the honors in the championship division, with UE in the runners-up spot. The fire service also took the premiership knockout crown after beating Police in the final. Mrs. Grace Sargent was on hand to present Police with the winner's trophy for the Steve Sargent Challenge. Police also took the Jean Pierre Challenge. But the Law had to settle for second place in the Courts Open knockout as they were bested by Daystar Swift and her UTT outfit. The league title is a cherished prize, and once again it was UTT in winner's row taking the alternative division, with Bermudas capturing the championship division. Amongst the big guns in the premiership division, Defence Force finished third, with Fire in second, and UTT capturing the top prize in the league. Some of the individual honors were the best shooter by division. In the alternative, with 73.2% shooting, was Jamila McCarthy. Janice McIntosh shot at 82.2% in the championship division. While in the premiership, Gersha Grant of Police shot 79.5% to take the prize. The defenders are rarely mentioned in netball, but the best who recognized on Saturday. UTT's Kimberly Collett was the best in the alternative division. Anika Nottingham of Bermudas in the championship, and Candice Guerrero of UTT in the premiership. Bermudas was the most disciplined team of an incident-free all sectors. Guerrero, a national team defender who also serves as captain, was also a judge most valuable player of the All Sectors Netball League 2013. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
Phagwah, while celebrated as a Hindu tradition, has been observed on a national level with overwhelming participation from persons of all walks of life. This year was no different as hundreds converged in central Trinidad to keep the tradition alive.
Phagwah, or Holi, is a religious spring festival celebrated by Hindus as a festival of colors, which is observed in the later part of the month of Phalgun and the early part of Chaitra in the Hindu calendar. The festival was first celebrated in Trinidad around the year 1845, when the Hindus who came from Bihar in India as indentured laborers on the sugarcane fields brought the tradition with them. The Festival of Colors is celebrated with songs, music and dances. A variety of watercolors are mixed and sprayed on all those who participate in the celebrations, and colored powder is smeared on their bodies as well. In the early days, the festival was observed very modestly because of the many constraints that the Hindus had to deal with. However, today it is celebrated at a national level in grand style throughout Trinidad and Tobago. On Sunday, the 22nd annual Kendra Phagwah Festival took place at Raghunandan Road, Longdenville. The event saw persons coming out in their numbers where they spent quality time with each other in observance of the festival. News 4 spotted Chaguanas Mayor, His Worship Orlando Nagisa, alongside Minister of Community Development, the Honourable Winston Peters, as they observed the many activities that took place. The Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy Competition unit of the Ministry of Community Development was instrumental in seeing the event's success this year and has pledged its continued support. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
And that story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.